Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Twist, a podcast where we like to talk about Round the Twist, an 80s, 90s TV show from Australia, watched primarily by children, and here to talk about it, I am your co-host, Anthony Bull, and I'm here with the actual real host, Joe Lewis. How are you today, Joe?
I'm very well, thank you. I don't know if I'd call myself a real host. I thought we were just co-hosts together.
I'm really more of a, you're more of the host, and I'm more of a dog or something, you know?
A
on
dog.
A chain. That's what people are saying in the secret emails they send me.
In the secret emails, they're saying, you're a dog, Anthony. They should keep you on a leash.
That's what they say.
What kind of listeners have we got here?
I don't know. People who like dogs, obviously.
That's right. We are here to talk about Round the Twist, an 80s, 90s, and early 2000s television show from Australia.
Yes, that is right. That's exactly what
That is exactly what you just said.
And it might be weird. You might say, hey, Anthony, why are you starting off this episode? Well, there's a very good reason. This episode is one of those Freaky Friday episodes. That's right. It's the episode titled UMI, or is it IMU?
I don't know.
UMI. It's titled UMI.
UMI?
UMI? Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Well, it's like, it comes up, it was EMU.
EMU.
UMI.
UMI.
I don't know how to pronounce this. It's just letters. What is the actual relevance of this title to the episode anyway?
Good question. I don't know. It's supposed to be like ultra mega intellect. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. Never mind. It's supposed to be... Okay, so it doesn't make sense. We'd established that it could have been anything, and they didn't make it, relevant at all.
They did not.
No, they did not.
I struggled to grow. I thought it was the name of the video game or something that they play during the episode, but it turns out no.
No, it doesn't.
There's no reference. Why call it this? Why not call it Freaky Friday, the Round the Twist episode?
Yeah, or Freaky Twists.
Freaky Twists.
Yeah, or something like that. Or PNG.
Strange things happen.
PNG, have fun together.
What?
PNG. They're called... Well, no, not PNG Procter & Gamble. I'm talking about PNG as in Pete and Gribble. Or that's how I wrote them in my notes. Because to follow along, I had to put in little things such as, PNG, P, parentheses G, G, parentheses P, to remember that it's Pete in Gribble's body, or Gribble in Pete's body. Otherwise, you're going to get really confused really quickly. Yeah, so... Two of the characters get body swapped, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but at the start of every Round the Twist episode, we have a kind of teaser scene to tell us what's going to happen. Sometimes thematically, sometimes narratively, but, just give us an idea of what's to come. Mm-hmm. And we start off this episode with Pete, and he's throwing rocks, kind of skimming them in the ocean, and we hear romantic music, and he goes to kiss Fiona, who's also nearby. They're standing on the rocks near the ocean, and as he leans in to kiss her, Gribble's head bursts from his neck and scares Fiona away. That was disgusting, yeah.
I feel like that would have made a much more interesting episode had Gribble's head just started to burst from people's necks, rather than just a Freaky Friday scenario.
Well, I mean, if Gribble had bursted from someone's neck, it would have just been what?
What?
It would have been like every other cliche episode where it's like, oh, I've got another head. 2 heads are better than one. Would have been a joke someone would have used at some point. But you know what would have been cool opening?
What?
Is if Pete was introduced or something, but dressed as Gribble, and then Gribble was dressed as Pete normally is, and they sort of look at each other and go, what? Oh my gosh,
that does
you're
not
wearing
sound...
my clothes, I'm wearing your clothes. That's crazy.
That's not cool at all.
That's wacky.
That's entirely predictable.
Well, you know what else is predictable?
What?
A head sprouting from your neck.
No, it's not. That would have been amazing.
Would have been amazing. I don't think so.
We start off the actual episode, and it's a fair, some kind of fete type thing. All the characters refer to it as a carnival, though, throughout the episode. Now, I've never really heard of anybody refer to some kind of fete or fair or exhibition as a carnival in Australia. Yeah. It's an American term. Why are they calling it a carnival here? Well, it's not carnival.
There is carnivals.
You don't call them that, do you?
It's Toowoomba's Carnival of Flowers.
Oh,
there's one I can think of.
Oh, Carnival of Flowers.
Well, name me a fete or fair you can actually think of.
School fetes.
Aside from school fete.
The spring fair.
Okay, fair enough.
They have exhibitions, the Brisbane show. It's normally a show.
Well, see, there's all these different things. Yeah, well, it's not really a show, is it? It's like, what qualifies as a show and what qualifies as a carnival? Is there like a special limit where it's like...
No, it's the same thing.
Carnival.
It's actually the same thing.
No, I don't think it is.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Carnival, a show is a carnival that happens in a certain town. What about a festival? Festival of what?
Anything.
Well, it's a festival, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be a festival. It can be like, some sort of like, Rottweiler Fest. I don't know. Give me a name.
Why would you have a Rottweiler festival?
I don't know.
Who's celebrating Rottweilers? Of all the dogs.
I don't know. There's people out there that's like, oh, I love Rottweilers, so we're good.
Come and get your child mauled.
Yeah, the Get Your Child Mauled Festival. Or the Daniel Morgan Festival. I don't know.
Whoa. That escalated very quickly.
Well, I just said everything's named up. A lot of things are named after Daniel Morgan now, so I mean, there might be a festival.
Yeah, what would they celebrate?
Child Safety, Daniel Morgan Festival. Yeah, see, that's not as weird as I thought.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Well, who's the girl? Who was that girl who loves yellow? Who was unfortunately
loves
murdered?
Yellow.
Her favorite color was yellow, and she was attacked.
What are you talking about?
It was a big case in Australia, like last year.
I have no idea.
She died, and it was like in Brisbane, man. Her body was found in the river.
I have no idea.
Alison Baden-Clay?
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yep. You have a festival for her, but it'd be for women's rights, women's
safety
or something.
Clay story.
Okay, go on.
You know when this was happening?
Yeah.
The whole case was going down.
Yeah. And it was in Ipswich too, so.
Well, yeah, this links into my point, right? Yeah. We were shooting a short film at uni, and our location bailed for whatever reason. And so it's like, oh, where are we going to shoot the film? One of my lecturers was like, oh, you can shoot it in my street. You know, you can just come over and shoot in my street. We're like, oh, yeah, we'll organise it. We'll use your house as a base camp, blah, 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 blah. Keep in mind, this was 1 week after the Baden Clay incident, and it was in the very location where this woman was murdered. We were shooting a horror film in the middle of the night.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Where this woman was murdered, we're shooting a horror film where people get killed and horrible things happen.
It's probably not the best of ideas, but...
Yeah, we were doing it, and I was like... I said to the producers, who are basically managers or whatever you would call them, and I was like, "Oh, you think this might be a good idea to do this here?" And they're like, "Oh, no, don't worry about it. You know, it's fine. This is the only location we get, and we don't have enough time to change it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. So I'm standing out there in the middle of the night holding a stop-go sign, which I wasn't legally qualified to hold. I could only hold it on the slow sign when 2 cars came from either way. You had to like be... try and angle the slow at both of them because you're not allowed to show the stop side because you're not legally qualified to do so. But anyway, I'm sitting there in the middle of the night holding a stop-go sign going, about 100, well, less than a K from where I'm standing, a woman was murdered about a week ago. This is extremely safe. Because I was standing about 200 meters away from everybody else in darkness. Nobody could see me.
You know what?
I could have just disappeared. I could have been taken.
Not only that, but like, think about this. The guy could have just been, been like, wow, I hear people being attacked. Well, I'm going to call the cops, and the cops just rock up.
Oh, we already told the cops.
Oh, good, I'm glad. Yeah. So, actually, that would be bad then. What if someone actually was being murdered that night?
Yeah.
In that area? Like, and it'd just be like, oh, no, don't
oh,
worry
that's
about
just
that.
a film.
That's just a film. It's okay, and it turns out they get murdered.
Yeah.
You'd be on the front cover.
Me?
Well, no, you're the screenwriter, so you'd just be like,
Joseph Lewis.
Don't blame me. I'm a screenwriter, okay? I just write the script. I don't pick where you shoot it.
One boy, 50,000 crimes.
That's exactly right.
So we're at this carnival, and Bronson, Fiona, and Pete are lining up for this video game that you control with your brain. And Pete says, oh, you know that tiny brain thing that's inside your head? It's really small. And this offends Bronson, and he says back to Pete, well, at least I've got something inside my head. And Fiona laughs. Mm-hmm. She's like, ho, this Pete guy, he's not all he's cracked up to be, is he? And so Pete responds by bribing Bronson to go and get fairy floss in a triple thick shake, pulls out a Viking Book of Love, and hypnotizes her into loving him.
You know what I liked?
Mature response.
Scene, what I liked about the scene is that when Pete tries to bribe Bronson, right, Bronson now understands the value of money. Remember how Gribble was like saying before, right?
Excellent.
He's like, teach this boy the value of money, because he holds out a little more, and it's like, oh, I could get fairy floss, but I need to get a milkshake as well, so he gets a little extra cash. So, he's shown him some fiscal responsibility, I guess.
This incarnation of Bronson is the most fiscally responsible Bronson so far.
Yep. Savvy as well, This kid's going somewhere. This will be the future sales rep for Gribble.
Well, what I was going to say, he's the future Gribble here.
Yeah. Well,
he's the next Gribble. We've talked about this in the past. The holy spiritual battle between good and evil, where Bronson is the apprentice to the
Dark Lord.
The force of dark or light, depending on your perspective. But he will inherit the throne of
the Gribbs.
Whichever alignment you feel is necessary.
Throne it is.
Capitalism.
He will
become
the king of Westeros.
The king of capitalism is
King
something.
of capitalism.
Bronson, king of capitalism. That'd be a great episode.
Yeah, that would be really interesting, and no one would...
I would watch it.
Yeah, of course you would. You'd love it. Oh man, this is best episode of
Yeah. Ayn Rand is the greatest ever.
Ayn Rand's in it too. She makes a special guest appearance. She floats down from heaven with a wing of angels and just like, This is as I prophesied. Thank you, Ayn Rand. And then she flies back up to... Well, she wouldn't go to heaven because she doesn't believe in heaven, whatever, I don't know. Wherever she is.
Where she goes to the capitalist afterlife.
Yeah, she goes to a mall.
Pete has this Viking Book of Love. I don't know how he got it. How did he get it? Did he just steal it from Linda? Who had it before this? Faye had it, right?
Yeah.
Because Faye used it on Tony.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was never resolved. I think Tony's still under the love
when you
spell.
steal something from someone's room, you tend to put it back. But Linda knew that she used the Viking, Fiona had used the Viking Book of Love. So you'd think Fiona would keep a bit more of a closer, eye on this Viking Book of Love.
Fiona hasn't used the Book of Love.
Fiona, sorry. Faye. Faye.
Yeah.
No, sorry. My bad. Faye used it. Linda should be keeping a closer eye on the book. Or at least putting a lock on it.
People just roam into her room and just steal things. You better hope she doesn't have anything that she shouldn't have in there.
She probably should buy a lock or something. That would probably be a good idea. It's a dangerous book.
Teenage girls, to any kind of teenager, often has things that they don't want other people to see.
Yeah.
People are just roaming in there on a regular basis, stealing her personal items.
Yeah.
You better hope you haven't got anything to steal, Linda.
Yeah, or just make, or better still, put something out there that's worth stealing more, you know? Oh, what's this? Here's a diary containing all of Linda's secrets. Oh, yeah, or just make your own Viking Book of Love. How hard would that be, literally? You just write up a whole bunch of crappy poems, and people try to read the poems, and they'll be like, oh, it's not working. Oh, it's because I've used all the poems. Done.
At the game queue, a guy emerges, the controller guy, the operator of the game, and he says, the champ wins again. It's Pete's turn, and he gives the book back to Fiona after he's hypnotized her with it, or controlled her. He gives the book to her, and then he goes inside the control room. And this is the video game here.
Yes.
Okay? And so it's this big, grandiose setup where there's 2 virtual reality helmets and gloves and all that's necessary for virtual reality. And you put them on and you play this game.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the game a little bit later. But we'll just interrupt here for a second to talk about some listener feedback. What we like to call Regan's
Pontillo's pontifications.
That is exactly what we'd like to call it.
Named after the pioneer himself.
Named after the pioneer, Regan Pontillo, the man who decided to write in one day and tell us what he thought about the episode.
The prophet who will lead the people out of the desert.
Yes, he is our very own Moses, and he has written in this week, and you can too, if you'd like to contribute some information, or we've got a little bit more from some other people a little bit later, but Regan's written in, and he's told us a couple of things that he thought about the episode, and at this point, this is what he said. He says, we see Mr. Gribble, who is the current champion, in the opposite booth, which makes him wonder several things. The first thing is, what made him decide to try this game? So Gribble is playing this game. He's the champion that we've heard about. The champ wins again. Why is he playing this game? He's the princess that was promised. Here is Azor Ahai.
Exactly.
Yes, what made him try this game?
Good question. Maybe he actually has stakes, financial stakes in the game.
You think he owns the game?
Or he might. He's got it, a video game arcade, remember? He brought a video game arcade to Port Naranda.
Well, it was a video arcade.
Or a video arcade. I'm assuming they've expanded.
I have no idea what that is.
Video game arcade.
I don't know.
Right? So I feel like maybe Gribble's got his fingers in many pies, and he probably has tried this thing out. He's also, when you think about it, this could be one of those deeper meaning things that you could get really excited about, Joe, where it's he's actually the winner because he's the best at what he does. You know, he's a winner. He tries really hard. He doesn't stop. He's unrelenting, and that's why he's successful.
Okay.
Come on, read.
I don't know. What are you trying to say?
He is unrelenting. He is very self-serving, and he's very good at what he does. Right. So that's why he succeeds in the game as well as succeeding in life.
Okay. You're trying to tell me he's an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
What are you trying to tell me? What am I missing here?
I'm trying to say that your favourite person is guest starring on Round the Twist.
Who's my favourite person?
Oh, who's your
Ayn Rand.
Yeah,
are you trying to say he's Ayn Rand incarnate?
What?
Oh, got hot flushes.
I'm getting the vapors.
No, well, you could say that. You could say that.
That actually does make more sense that he's actually very competitive by nature. Just seems to be. So that would make sense that he is the champ because he probably plays a lot harder than others.
Yeah.
And I reckon he has some stake in the game. It would just make sense.
The other thing that Regan wondered was, why is he the undefeated champ? And is his brain superior to the others in Port Naranda? Which is
That's
kind
a
of
really
what we
good
talked
question.
about as well.
Yeah. I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes. You don't get to own all those businesses or not at least have some amount of brain power. You may not be the smartest person in Portnorando. I thought Snapper would beat him in the game. But then again, would Snapper ever play the game? I don't think so.
Well, I don't think Snapper's that bright. I think
maybe
there's different types of intelligence.
Yeah.
And maybe Snapper doesn't have the intelligence suited to playing video games. But I wouldn't think that Gribble did either.
Well, maybe it's one of those things where, what's that old saying? It's something like, it's better to keep your mouth closed and be thought of as the fool than to open one's mouth and remove any doubt.
Yes.
Right? Where Snapper can keep himself quiet. Everything he says, he sounds a lot smarter, he sounds educated, so Gribble just talks non-stop, you know?
Yes.
He is a talker. So he'll say a lot of guffs.
Guff.
It does lower your opinion of him, or his intelligence, even though, you'd think he has some amount of intelligence because he runs all those businesses. And successfully, I might add.
Yes. Well, I think he's doing okay.
Yeah. He's not chemical engineer, but he's smart enough.
The one thing I wanted to talk about this game was, it's clearly a virtual reality game, right? It's even called VR Striker.
Yes.
Virtual Reality Striker. Now, they've mentioned that you control this game with your brain.
Yes.
They have controllers on their hands, and it's a virtual reality, meaning that you're not controlling it with your brain at all. It's a virtual reality. You're controlling it within the VR interface, using your whole body to control it. You're not using your brain at all.
If you actually were using your brain, you'd be able to
just sit still.
Well, and you should be able to beat your opponent laterally.
Yes.
You know, there's I gotta attack him, I gotta race to him. It's like, why? Why can't I just imagine my thing is teleported behind him and shoot him?
Well, in a game theoretically controlled by your brain, you would still have to follow the rules of the game. You'd still have to follow internal game.
You don't know what the physics of the rules are.
Well, it would depend,
and that's
obviously.
The thing. Maybe Gribble knows the physics of the game. Maybe he's realized that there actually are faults in the game that it's like, oh man, here's the line of code. I've realized that I can screw with gravity here. Can
I be honest here?
Yeah.
I thought this was dumb.
Okay.
I thought this was really dumb that Gribble is the game master guy. There's no reason. We have no indication other than, look, it's Gribble playing a game.
Should have been Gribble Jr. That makes more sense that he'd be playing a video game.
Yeah, but that swap isn't interesting.
I know, that's the
Gribble Pete swap. The Mr. Gribble Pete swap is kind of interesting. It's probably one of the better ones that you could do, other than Bronson Matron, which I would thought would be the go-to.
How about this? Let's say Pete and Gribbs, whatever, that they still do the swap. But let's say we make Pete the champion. That makes sense, right? He's a young kid.
Why would Grib play the game?
Because he comes in, he's interested in the technology, gives him his business card, right? And says, I can help you with set up this video arcade in Portnorando. And he's like, the guy doesn't even pay attention. He just straps him into the machine. And he's like, I'm not really sure I want to play this game, blah, 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 blah. And he gets forced into the game through some silly way because he was trying to get a sale.
I thought the whole episode was pretty loose. Not one of my favorites.
I thought it was like Lawnmower Man, only on a cheaper budget. And I liked Lawnmower Man. So
do you?
I do. I do like Lawnmower Man.
We've done a lot of tangents this early in the episode, but when we were in grade 8, I was away one day and I'd rented a book from the library called, we'll just leave that be. And it was called Terra Firma.
Yeah.
TERRAFIRMA, I think.
Yeah.
And I was away from parade and then called out my name. Oh, Joe Lewis, your book is overdue. And the next day, we were standing in our year level area, and this man, one of the groundskeepers at our school, they were all intellectually impaired. They employed intellectually
which
employed.
I think is a good system.
Yeah, we could give them a fair go. He was driving this ride-on lawnmower quite erratically through our year level area. It was quite dangerous, and Anthony came running towards me, screaming, "Joseph Lewis! Joseph Lewis! The book you rented from the library has come true. It's the Terra Firma!"
Yeah, I remember that now.
Anyway.
Actually, that story you could have been done without you saying that the guy was intellectually impaired, to be honest.
Why?
It didn't contribute to the story at all. Now it just makes it look like we're laughing at mentally handicapped people.
Though.
We're not. We're laughing at a guy on a lawnmower running through a year level area coming after you.
We were grade 8.
Okay. Kids these days, though.
It was a little bit scary.
Kids back then, eh?
Kids in general.
Yeah, kids in
This
general.
game, though, little bit more on this before we move on, because we've spent quite enough time on it. But it's some kind of plane racing, fighting space game with virtual reality controls. So like flying around shooting each other. I didn't quite understand the mechanics of this, but whatever. Who cares? Its relevance to the episode is bordering on nil.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say that the interior of the VR looks like every Laser Force ever.
Yep.
Yep.
Smoke, dark lights,
and it has some weird stuff hanging from the wall.
Yeah. Outside of the virtual reality tent, Gribble Gang is waiting, and they're getting impatient. Everyone else is gone. Apparently, these two have been in there a long time. They've matched each other with their intellect and dexterity, and only Fiona and them are there. Everyone else is gone. Linda approaches Fiona, and Fiona declares her love for Pete by calling him a hunk. Gribble does not enjoy this, young Gribble that is, and he is jealous, because I think he likes Fiona.
Mm-hmm.
He likes Fiona, right?
That makes sense.
This is a thing?
Fiona's hot.
Is it a thing?
Fiona must be the hot chick
I don't
at
know.
school.
This is what we're continually
Is
told.
Fiona the hot chick at school?
Well, there's barely any chicks at school.
Well, the thing is, it's like, is Pete that popular enough that is like he actually is scoring with the hot chick, the hot chick?
Well,
top of the pyramid?
The reason why he hypnotized her was because she wasn't that interested.
That's just messed up, eh?
But in the first episode, she was berating him for having
this weird love
some sort of
triangle.
relations with a dryad.
This weird relationship between the two is just, it's just
plot, really, isn't it?
It makes it really confusing. Oh, I love you, but now I don't love you. It's like, make up your mind. Just make up your mind.
So Rabbit and Tiger, they go and to turn off the power to the video game, to teach Pete a lesson. Oh, that's definitely going to teach him a lesson, turning off the video game he's playing. Mm-hmm. So they go to this power box, and Regan has a comment here, and he says, this electrical cabinet that they open, it really should have some kind of lock on it. Mm-hmm. I agree, Regan.
Yeah.
It should indeed.
In fact, there are a lot of things in Port Noranda that really need locks on them. If you're a locksmith out there, you should move to Port Noranda, because
you probably get some work.
Get so much work, I can tell you that much.
They turn off the power, and it electrocutes Pete and Gribble. And Matron and young
Gribble...
Gribble...
Doesn't kill them, I want to put in there.
It doesn't kill them.
I expected it would.
Why would it kill them?
Electricity flowing through you is probably not healthy for you.
This is Port Noranda. Matron and young Gribble are very concerned that their husband and dad, respectively, are inside getting electrocuted. And Pete and Gribble have now switched bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And they come out of the tent, and they go to kiss their loved ones, but they're in the wrong bodies, so they kiss the wrong loved one from the physical perspective. So Pete is in Gribble's body, and he goes to kiss Fiona, and Gribble is in Pete's body, and he goes to kiss Matron. And neither of the women enjoy this.
From now on, if we can, remember, we should probably refer to them in a way that really helps the audience out.
Well, what
are we going to define them as in this episode?
Just the character. Yeah. I would say just the character. So if Pete's in Gribble's body, that's Pete.
Do you want to call him Pete Gribble?
Piggle.
I just call him Pete Gribble and Harold Twist.
How is that supposed to be helpful to the listeners?
Well, Harold Twist is clearly Harold in Pete's body.
Oh, clearly.
Well, yeah, because Twist is the last name, right? Whereas Pete Gribble is Pete in Gribble's body.
I don't know. We'll give it a go. I think I'm going to get pretty confused.
You will.
Guarantee you. The game owner says, the game's broken, and Pete and Gribble want to use the game to switch back, because they think if they just hop in it, they'll switch back, blah, blah, blah. But it won't be fixed till 11 p.m.
11 p.m?
Some arbitrary time.
What an odd time. Oh, it won't be fixed till just then.
We'll come and talk about this a little bit later, but why they say 11 p.m., it's a bit weird, but we'll come back to
Maybe
why.
It's daylight savings.
No, not for that reason. Why would daylight savings be relevant?
Because it's daylight savings, which means that real time, yes, that's right. If you use daylight savings, that's not real time.
It isn't.
Right? It's actually 12 p.m., right?
All these bollocks
Is
about
that right? That's right. That's how it works, right?
It's what? 10 p.m. It's push forward an hour.
Oh, god damn. We got that backwards. Damn, I hate daylight savings sometimes.
Daylight savings is
Queensland,
the worst.
Queensland, people in Queensland are like, it's confusing. The cows don't know when they're going to be milked.
It's true.
Don't know how to read time.
I wouldn't know when it's time to be milked.
Yeah, me neither. It'd be like, it's supposed to be 5 p.m., but it turns out it's 7 a.m. I don't know.
All these people are like, Queenslanders want daylight savings. No, we don't. It's rubbish, and we hate it. I don't want it at all.
The southeast Queensland, maybe Gold Coast wants it. That's it, really?
Well, apparently Brisbaneites want it.
I don't want it.
I definitely don't want it.
It's like, who wants to go outside anyway? It's shit. It's boring outside. What can you do outside except push a lawnmower? Yeah, God, bloody hell, get the Terra Farmer in there to do bloody lawn mowing.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Gribble as Pete. So Gribble in Pete's body, Gribble twist, wants to keep it a secret so that Matron doesn't have a heart attack that they've swapped bodies. Even though she's seen a dragon. Yeah. She's seen some crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Why would she be concerned about body swapping?
Well, body swapping would be the hardest thing to prove.
Yeah.
Everything else, oh yeah, that makes sense. But it'd be hard to prove that, Pete Gribble.
Yes.
You know, that he's actually, Pete.
It's just the normal...
Or if it's not, he's going through a midlife crisis, which is what we get later on, which makes more sense, and has got some really dark themes in it.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that.
It's just like the normal twist rule. Tell a responsible adult.
Yeah.
And they'll work it out.
That's exactly right.
The twists are going to get pizza, and Pete Gribble is really jealous because Fiona's hanging out with Gribble now. Back at the Lighthouse, Tony thinks that Pete Gribble, or Gribble Twist, yes, Gribble Twist, the Gribble in Pete's body, needs cheering up because he looks sad. And he says, "You want to cheer me up? Sell the Lighthouse." And Bronson looks very alarmed. But Gribble, he's got an idea.
He does.
Later, he's listening to jazz in Pete's room, and Linda bursts in with Bronson, and they demand answers. Why does Pete, who they think is Pete, but is actually Gribble, why does he want to sell the Lighthouse? And Gribble says, there's a lack of privacy in the Lighthouse, there's too many people in here now, we don't have enough room, and Linda and Bronson are not convinced, and Linda says to Gribble Twist, "You're spun out." And he says, "I'm totally unspun." And just a side note here, Pete's room is significantly less cool than normal.
That's a good point. I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That being fair, I was watching it on like a mobile phone screen, so it's kind of hard to see some of the stuff. But
his room was pretty cool in season 1.
But now it's not.
Now it's not.
Is that after Harold takes over or what?
I think it was the state of his room before Harold took over.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe he just wasn't a cool character.
Just not
cool. He doesn't play guitar anymore, does he?
Oh, who knows,
he listens
man.
to guitar. He's given up on the guitar.
Who knows? I've got no idea.
Yeah, who knows?
The character traits between seasons. I don't know what's going on.
I don't even know what Pete does anymore. Pete's just
what does he do?
Pete is just a boy. He doesn't even have a character outside of I'm a teenage boy.
Is he a poor boy from a poor family?
Yeah, well, clearly they live in a lighthouse.
Should we spare him his life from this monstrosity?
What does that even mean?
What?
Spare him his life from this monstrosity.
I think I don't know. He's going to be killed because he killed a man. He's going to have capital punishment or something, and it'd save him from this monstrosity that is capital punishment, I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, and Linda and Bronson leave his room, and Gribble says to himself, "The Lighthouse is as good as mine." Well, Gribble, I think you have to work a little bit harder than that, but we'll get on with the episode. Pete, in contrast to the jazz, is listening to rock.
He's rocking hard
Gribble's
out.
house. And he's doing some air guitar. He's eating popcorn, throwing it at his face because that's how he eats it.
Dude, I can only describe this character as the what he's listening to as Van Halen ripoff, or
who knows, man?
It's Van Halen ripoff or something.
I think so.
Yeah, it would probably be it have to be a ripoff because they couldn't afford.
Yeah, they definitely could not afford the
Van
rights.
Halen, but
And Matron and the young Gribble, they're confused and upset by this behaviour. And Matron thinks that if the twists sell the Lighthouse, Gribble can achieve his casino dream.
Yeah.
And be happier. I don't know why he just doesn't build a casino somewhere else. We've kind of been over this before.
I like this, and I like this season, hopefully, as it's going to come through, because I like how it humanizes the Gribbles, particularly Matron and Harold. You can see Matron in this episode just like she's a really faithful and loving wife, and it really grows in her character. Like, I didn't know that building a casino was his dream. I didn't know that, and now I feel bad for Harold. He can't, achieve his dreams, even though we've all discussed that he can because he just builds a casino somewhere else. But, I can sympathize with someone who wants to achieve his dreams, but he can't. As opposed to just, I'm the evil landlord and I want to destroy. No, I've got a dream. Okay. Yeah,
it's nice to have characters that they want to do something what they think is good, right? Rather than just be evil.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Matron says, "Is there anything that I can help you with? Because your behaviour's a bit weird." And Pete in Gribble's body says, "Have you got any frozen Mars bars?"
Apparently
You're not Bronson, Pete. Calm down.
Apparently frozen Mars bars are great.
Are they?
That's what I've been told.
Who? Who told you this?
People.
What people?
People
Who's eating frozen Mars bars?
There's people out there. They put them in the freezer.
They're sending you secret emails about this?
No. It's like people at work and stuff. They're like, I love to put Mars bars in the freezer. And I'm like, good.
I've had a deep fried Mars bar.
Yeah, how's that?
Not great.
Not great?
I severely hurt my liver.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You know not to do that again.
James Gribble, he says to himself, the Twist must pay for this, for what they've done to my father. He's having a midlife crisis because of this, and I want to take out my home issues on some people that can't defend themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Gribble, in Pete's body, is at the lighthouse with the Twists, watching TV about the Canadian stock market.
It's weird.
Because as you do.
I caught some of this. So what I caught was he was doing finances, and I think it was must have been Australia to US, the Australian to whatever currency they were doing. So it was a comparison. So you had the UK at 35 cents.
Okay.
That makes sense. That sounds about right.
The pound? The pound or the euro?
Yeah, no, it'd be the pound. It would have been, otherwise it would be EU.
Yeah, okay.
Ticker. US, that's 71 cents. That makes sense. KW. What the hell's KW? I tried looking up KW and I couldn't find anything.
Is this some sort of country that only exists in the universe of the Twists?
I don't know. I think they made it up. Maybe if you're a finance guy or a forex trader,
I know what it is.
What?
It's Kawakistan.
Oh, Kawakistan, of course.
Did you not know about Kawakistan?
Yeah.
It's one of the major powers of the world.
But then we look at Canada, right? And it's okay. So what I see is that it's gone up to $5.63, and then it's down to $3.62 before rising up again to around about $3.89. I did not realize that the Canadian dollar was so bad by comparison to the Australian dollar. I thought it would have been comparable to like the New Zealand dollar.
I think it's fair to say that I think they just made these stats up.
Yep.
But interesting point. Then, maybe these stats are affected by the fact of the Vikings taking their hairdryers and other stuff.
It could have been
to the magical land of the Great West.
Yeah, it could have. Oh, you never look at that. But then, obviously, was it Mr. Twist comes in the room and he wants to have a talk about the lighthouse.
Yes.
But Pete says, "Hang on, what's he saying? Can't it wait? I want to see how the yen held up today." Now I watched this, and the fact of the matter is, the ticker was going onto the yen just as the scene changed, or cameras changed to Mr. Twist coming in, so he saw how the yen went.
Multitask, Pete.
Yeah,
Gribble,
it's not hard. It's like,
it's
down the bottom. It's however much it is now.
Yeah, it's not a difficult thing to do.
It's not hard to do.
You've got the internet.
Did you love the graph too? It was the simplest graph I'd ever seen. Canada. It was just like one line. I'm like, that is finance.
That's exactly how finance works.
Yep.
Linear lines.
Those four, when you see finance traders that have like those 4 desktop screens, nah, screw that. You just need one graph and one line.
If only to be a Port Noranda stock exchanger.
Oh god, it's so easy.
Linda and Bronson aren't keen to sell the lighthouse because Tony is thinking about doing it to help Pete. Because they have a weird family motto. It's like one in, all in or something. Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
But Bronson says, just because Faye takes up all the room doesn't mean we have to move. Huh?
Yeah.
More attacking on Faye. What has she done to offend Bronson?
She's not done anything.
She's his teacher. Maybe she's a douche.
Like, there's a limit where it's like, it's just a kid trying to learn to accept his new mother. But then there's like Mr. Twist should take his belt off and clip him around the ears or something. What a disrespectful little shit.
And Gribble in Pete's body says, no, we just need a normal place where we all have space.
Yeah.
And Tony wants to hear him out, but Gribble says, I just want to be normal for a change.
No, that's fair.
And he says,
that's kind of fair.
And he says, if not, I understand.
Yeah.
And he sulks on up the stairs.
I mean, that actually goes to later on in the episode, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
We'll bring that back, hopefully.
Matron is sleeping on Pete in the body of Gribble with a face mask on. And it's time. It's time to go and make the exchange. It's 10:45, and so he goes to meet Gribble in Pete's body at the carnival.
Yep.
Gribble arrives there as well, and the carnival is gone. And we see, there's a little joke here, Gribble can't even ride a bike, even when he's in Pete's body.
Yeah.
There's like some kind of ongoing joke that Gribble can't ride a bike.
Well, it ties in later to the episode.
Does it?
Yeah, well, kind of. Like, later on, Pete in Gribble's body, or Pete Gribble, has to drive... has to drive a four-wheel drive. Has to drive Mr. Gribble's truck.
He can't do that.
So he can't do that, so it's a joke, I guess. Which is kind of stupid, though, because you don't forget how to ride a bike. It's not... You're not the best at riding a bike if you haven't done it in 20 years, but you still know how to do it.
The carnival is gone, and Gribble says, oh, look, I'll make some calls. We can switch back tomorrow. And Pete doesn't like the fact that he's in Gribble's body because it's too fat and it's too flabby. And Gribble says, listen, boy, that's pure muscle. And he says, is there anything that I should know about your life? And Pete says, yes, stay away from Fiona.
Yeah.
Don't touch her. Don't be touched by her, because that's weird and creepy. Is there anything that I should know about your life or plans? And Gribble says no.
Yeah.
He's lying here because he wants the lighthouse.
Absolutely.
Which is fairly obvious. I think Pete should have realised this already.
Should have thought it. Yeah, well, I mean, Pete thought that Gribble was honest.
And it's a little bit later, and Gribble in Pete's body is sleeping and listening to jazz.
Yeah.
And Pete returns home to Gribble's house, and Matron is crying.
And it got really dark.
Her husband is leaving in the middle of the night to go out and do who knows what.
Yep. She clearly thinks that he's cheating on her.
Or, yeah, just having a general midlife crisis.
Well, yeah, but like, why would she...
He could be out buying a new car.
Yeah, but to me, I just thought, wow, this got really dark. Like, she must think that he's cheating, because, like, you'd have to think something's going on, some suspicious thing. That's really dark, Espen. Really dark.
Espen didn't write this episode.
He didn't?
No.
Oh, I guess
it was somebody else. Good on you, Espen.
Yeah.
You know,
you
didn't write some garbage this week.
You didn't write some Ashley Madison story.
What?
Ashley Madison?
Who's Ashley Madison?
There's a bloody website, man. Have you not heard about that in the last, 2 weeks? The website got hacked. It's like a website for people who want to cheat on their wives or something.
Oh, okay.
And all their user information got dumped on the internet.
Yeah.
So everyone knows who was on the website now.
Yeah.
And it turns out there's people like Republican leaders, people who worked at the White House. I think Tony Blair's email was in there or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I think some people have been using, like, email rerouters, but it's like, wow, okay, there you go.
Well, there you go. The next day at school, Fiona approaches Gribble, because she's in love with him, because of Viking Book of Love, and Gribb's not having it. He's on the phone, he's calling about a carnival, he's on his mobile, and Fiona, she loves being ignored. And she tells Linda about it, and she says, oh, I just love Pete. He's so manly how he ignores me now. Ever since he read me that poem from the Viking Book of Love. And Linda, she gets mad.
Yeah, of course.
And she goes over to shout at Gribble. And Gribble and Pete's body says, this is very interesting what he says here. He says, back off, Kung Fu. I thought he was going to say something else.
Something else, yeah.
He says, I don't care what you're babbling about, just stay out of my face, alright? And Gribble just comes out of nowhere. I thought he was going to protect Linda because of some weird crush thing, but it turns out he's just here to assault him because of what he did to his dad, supposedly, giving him a midlife crisis. They come up and they're going to attack him, and Gribble in Pete's body says to the Gribble gang, getting slightly more confusing, and he says, feed your dog a bone and lock him in a kennel.
That makes
Use some
sense.
mouthwash. I think it's because he had bad breath.
No, but it doesn't make any sense. Like, Gribble shouldn't have responded in such a way, right?
I don't know.
Gribble's the mind and still in Pete's body, right?
Yeah.
He would recognize his son. For years, he was still treating him like he would still have the authority.
Yeah.
Why? It would have made more sense that Pete would have stood up and said, you don't talk that way to me, or something.
Yeah.
He would have, tried to lash out at him in that way. And then Gribble would have realized, probably would have come back later and attacked him, because that's what happens. But it didn't make sense that he told him to buzz off. It's like, this is your son and his friends. Why are you not treating him like he is your son? And I mean, why are you not scolding him like you would a son?
I don't know. It's just a poor episode, I think.
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a great episode.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
2 against 1. So,
Using our listeners against me.
I am.
Snapper comes in, and everyone scatters. They're like, oh, no, it's Snapper. And Gribble is still on the phone. And he starts shouting at Gribble. And Gribble says, is there a problem? 30 grand a year? You're going to tell me what to do, are you?
What are you on? 30 grand a year?
Is that what he says?
Don't tell me what to do. Which I think, that really pisses Snapper off.
Was it 30 grand a year back then?
Yeah.
It's significantly more than that now.
Yeah. It's I don't know.
It's at least double that.
Well, inflation, yo. And who knows? He doesn't even know. He doesn't even know how much a teacher earns. Does he?
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
He doesn't.
Maybe.
He's not a teacher.
Sure.
It's not really public knowledge. Maybe.
Oh, maybe it's different in the other states. But I
have no idea how much he made. But he probably was just making a point of, Gribble probably makes a lot more money. 80 grand, 90 grand
I would say he makes more than that.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
He runs a lot of businesses, so, I guess to him it's like 30 grand. Oh, it's tiny. I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
Who cares? People that make a lot of money
Who cares?
seem to think that
having money
is equivalent to phallus size.
Yeah, it is. You're absolutely right. I thought you were going to say, I was like, phallus size? What? Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah.
Yes. Snapper, he's furious and he says, read my mustache. Detention. And Gribble wobbles his lips. And Snap, he's so mad.
He's pissed.
He's so mad.
He's so, I ain't even mad. But why are you mad, bro?
Why are you mad?
Yeah.
Don't be hating on the player.
Yeah, just don't hate on him.
Pete wakes up in Gribble's body. and he's wearing dollar pajamas, which I think is great.
I think that's a really...
Be proud of the dollar.
I think it's awesome.
Capitalist hero.
I like the costume, actually. Thought it was really fitting for his character.
I would wear dollar pajamas.
If you could afford them.
Oh, you. And Matron comes in with the biggest breakfast that I've ever seen. There's an enormous bowl of Fruit Loops. There's a big plate of mushroom sausages and toast, etc. Yeah. And Pete... He's like, oh, he's terrified. He's like, just eat a little bit, Pete.
Yeah, don't be
You're gonna
an
get
asshole.
hungry. Don't be.
Seriously,
she's made all this
your
food
manners?
for you.
Like, this lady, really nice lady. She's not your wife, like, to you. But she's a nice lady. She's bringing you food. Like, you're hungry. Just go eat the damn breakfast.
And
what are you gonna do? Seriously, just eat the fucking breakfast. Don't be an asshole.
And he goes, oh, I have to go to the office. And Matron's like, oh, he's having a midlife crisis. Men, hey, and their midlife crises.
Men, eh?
Are you having a midlife crisis, Anthony?
Yes. Because if I am, then that means I'm going to be dead in, like, when I'm 50,
I've
right?
had multiple quarter-life crises.
I've had so many crises, you know. The other day, I was just like, oh, man, what am I doing with my life? And then I was just like, oh, wait, no, I'm fine.
Apparently, the quarter-life crisis is a big problem these days. Like, when you're around in your early to mid-20s, people just have these quarter-life crises. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Well,
25.
When you think about it, it's kind of just like, you go to uni, you study, all that stuff, you get your qualifications, and then you're like, did I do the right thing? Like, I didn't even understand what I was studying the first time. I just picked it because I thought it sounded good. And I just kept going with it because I thought, hey, it sounded like a thing I wanted to do. I get out, I can't find any work. Did I make the wrong choice? I don't know.
Yeah.
And do I want to do this the rest of my life? And then you think, do I go back to uni? No, fuck that. If I go back to uni, that's another 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I can't waste that time, blah, blah, blah. All these open doors, but are these open doors actually tolls? Oh no, I've got a quarter-life crisis. Just, who cares,
both
man?
you and I have spent a considerable amount of time in tertiary education.
Yes.
Would you say worth or not worth?
Look, a lot of people bag out tertiary education, and to be honest, I think a lot of people are like, to be honest, I think that's a bit of it's not entitlement, what's it called? I want to call it, in the long term, I feel like it's better. You don't realize what you learned at university truly as, like, graspable. It's something that you realize over the long term that it really plays into effect.
Sure.
You know, when it's compounding things, you learn more and more as you go, blah, blah, blah. Oh, shit, this is something I learned at uni.
Yeah.
But it's not like, you would never be able to say, yes, I directly learned that at uni, I'm great at this, unless you're, like, some specific role, like, I guess a pharmacist would.
Yes.
Because they need all the medication. But, you know, there's all this shit in business you learn that you're probably not going to use, but you might use, but that will help you make decisions in your specialized career because it's still going to be a part in your decision making. You're going to factor that in. So a lot of people bash higher education for that reason. It doesn't help you with your job, but I reckon it will help you with your career. That's my opinion, and as we all know, I can be wrong, but I usually am not.
The great Anthony Bull can be wrong?
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. Well, I can be when my wife tells me I am.
The God King has failed us. Pete is in the car, and he's sweating.
Yes.
Because he doesn't know how to drive a car. And he's trying to get Matron to do it. She's like, oh, you don't like me driving?
Women drivers. Am I right? No,
I don't know.
It's fine.
I think there's quite a lot of good women drivers.
Yeah.
Also bad ones, but good ones as well. Just the same as any gender.
I don't really care.
Yeah, but who cares?
It does not take a lot of skill to drive a car. It's not. No. And I don't think it's really tied to gender. I mean, unless, like, you drive it with your penis. So, you know, if you drive a car with your penis, then it's going to be really hard to do it for
when you get into the car, we all know. Put the keys in, you take off the handbrake, and you insert your penis into the penis slot.
That's exactly right. The phallus slot.
The phallus slot? It's called, yes. The phallus ignition?
The phallus ignition. Without it, it's sort of like goes putt, putt, putt. Yeah.
Yes.
And usually leaves the indicator on as well when you're driving. And brakes too suddenly. Sorry, I'm just making a lot of sexist jokes.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, that's fine.
You are. You are indeed. He starts driving, and he's jerky as. He's all over the road, he's causing traffic jams, and he finally gets to the office, and he rushes up to the door, and he's like, oh, get it in the office. And Matron comes over and has to unlock the door for him because he can't do it, and he's all shaky. What's he playing at here?
What's he doing? What's he going to do in the office?
He's trying to get hold of the carnival. He's running people. He's trying to get hold of them. Tony comes in. He's like, oh, Dad, Tony, hello.
How's it going,
How
Tony?
are you, Tonester? And Pete says, what type of pizza did you have last night? And Tony says, we're not here to talk about pizza, Harold. I'm here to sell the lighthouse. And Pete's like, why would you do that? Yeah. And Matron's like, oh my goodness. Oh, she's like having hot flushes. She loves it.
Yeah.
The idea of
all the dreams, dreams coming true, you know, it's great.
That phallic symbol, it's finally going to be hers.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah. That'll actually help with the midlife crisis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you think about it, it should, bring back a little bit of the fire into their relationship.
Yeah, we've talked about in the past the lighthouse being a phallic symbol, and if Harold is having a midlife crisis, having a great phallic symbol would maybe
help him out and bring back a bit of his masculinity.
Rejuvenation.
Yeah, to their relationship. Also, it's nice that they have shared goals.
Yes.
So that's great.
That
Shows longevity
marriage
in their
is still
relationship.
trucking along.
Yeah, good for them.
And Pete says, why would you do that? And Tony says, because Pete, he wants to get rid of it. And the real Pete, that's in Gribble's body, says, that's why I didn't want to swap back. Such a dirty rat.
What a dirty rat.
What a dirty rat.
What a dirty rat.
What a rat that's dirty.
Yeah, exactly. He needs a bath.
Gribble's on the phone in Pete's body, and he's found the carnival, and it's going to be in Biggsville. It's Biggsville again.
Yeah, so Biggsville is actually
the city. The thing. Get a better name.
Biggsville is the municipality, and manages the municipality of Port Noranda.
Biggsville.
What a stupid name.
Somebody needs to be slapped.
I'm waiting for someone out there in Biggsville, like legitimately there's a place called Biggsville, to write in and say, how dare you say Biggsville is a dumb name? I am a proud Big Villainite.
If you are a Big Villainite.
If you are the mayor of Biggsville, we would love to have you on our podcast.
We should look it up and see if there is a place and see if we can get the mayor.
Yeah, we'd ask them, excuse me, mate, do you allow jet ski races? That's what we want to know. What's your opinion on jet skis? And it turns out it's like a city in like the middle of Australia, and it'd be like, if we had water, we'd let them.
And it turns out that Gribble's actually in detention, and Snapper arrives, and he says, have you learnt your lesson? And Gribble says, yes, I have. Never insult a public servant with an overinflated sense of his own importance. And Snapper goes, what did he just say? He's quite insulted.
Zing, right? Zing right there.
Zing.
What?
It's a really obscure pop culture reference.
It's so obscure. Explain it then?
The American Big Brother have a thing called Zingbot, and he comes in and he goes, zing, whenever he makes a burn on them.
Wow, that is really obscure. No one would ever watch that show.
Well, the people watch it. It's actually, we're running out of time, but the American Big Brother.
Yeah.
There was season 1 of it, right?
Yeah.
And it was kind of like every other Big Brother in the world. And then it tanked really badly in America. So they got the producers from Survivor, which was the hottest show on television at the time, like 30, 40 million viewers. Yeah. They got them to remodel the rules of Big Brother to make it more like Survivor. So it's actually a strategy game, not a ring in and vote for popularity contest.
I like the strategy game more, at least.
It's actually really interesting. But anyway, Gribble, he goes outside and is immediately grabbed by the Gribble gang, who grab him and take him to the toilet and cover him in toilet paper and probably toilet water.
Didn't they give him a swirly or something?
I don't know. We didn't have these at our school, right? The swirlies and flushies.
Here's the thing with bullying, right? If you were never bullied, you generally think that it never happened.
Well, I was bullied in primary school, and I just never flushed down the toilet. I was sort of
bullied too, a little. But then in high school, it didn't really happen. But then I'm looking back, maybe it did happen to others. We just didn't really see it. We didn't notice it.
Well, I didn't think there was a tremendous amount of bullying in our high school.
I don't mean because of the size of our year level. It just was quite small, all things considered. I don't know.
There weren't too many douchebags in our high school. It's
probably a private school as well, which eliminated a lot of, I guess.
I know bullying definitely does happen, but I think it's less of a big deal in private schools.
Yeah, because you can just get rid of the kids.
Yeah.
Which, is probably not the best thing, obviously, but cause
you've got a right to an education. Doesn't mean you have a right to have an education here. You can have your education somewhere else.
And you got a whole bunch of bad kids at the public schools.
Yep. Fun for all involved.
Fun for everybody who sometimes does teaching.
Gribble rushes to the real estate agent, and he gets there and he starts arguing with Pete about selling the lighthouse.
Yeah.
Then they both rush off to go and find the carnival. And just as Gribble is leaving, him inside Pete's body, he says to Matron, "Don't just stand there, woman. Get Tony a contract." And then he waddles off doing the Gribble walk to get in the car to go drive to the Biggsville Carnival.
Yeah.
Gribble, he makes Pete drive, so it looks a little bit more realistic. They could just put P plates on the car.
L plates. Yeah, they could have put L plates on the car. It would have made a lot more sense.
Yes. And they arrive at the carnival, and the ride operator's there, and he won't turn on the ride until Gribble gives him some money. Now, something I wanted to talk about. Why would the ride operator say, we don't open again until 11 o'clock, when he clearly knows that they're moving?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't they know? Shouldn't there be signs up everywhere saying Carnival's only in town today? You better come and get on all the rides and stuff. It's bad writing. It's really bad writing. Yeah. Why would a Carnival just up and leave? No.
Because they're, they leave.
They wouldn't do that.
Yeah, because they're charlatans. They take people's money.
And then
Yeah, they fleece people out of their money.
Is that why it's so hard for them to find where it is?
Of course. Haven't you ever seen them traveling carnies? You know,
They
steal all your money.
Have you seen Carnival?
No, the TV show that you referenced, I haven't seen that yet.
The TV show that I reference almost every episode?
It has nothing to do with what we're talking about? Yes.
They mark people's shirts with like a black cross.
Yeah.
And then when they're on a riot or something, somebody will pickpocket them and steal their wallets. They call it like a burn or something, a slash and burn. They'll do one night and they just steal everyone's wallets and then they clear out really quickly the next day.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
But it's not sustainable business, obviously, because once they've done that, they can't really come back to that town.
No, they can't.
No.
They can come back in like a couple of years' time, just under a different brand.
Well, they don't really... this particular carnival doesn't really rebrand. It's Carnival, so they just...
No, they would not really do well in the age of Twitter and Facebook.
No,
or
they would not.
It'd be like, do not go here. You will have your stuff stolen. Wow, there's a lot of negative reviews on Facebook. Well, let's go anyway.
Well, let's go to the carnival in Australia, which would never happen because we don't have them.
Let's go to the festival show.
I was up near Blackwater. Yeah, and we were driving past a town called Wowan, and we got really excited because there was the Wowan show was on. Mm-hmm. Drive to Wowan, nobody was there.
No,
where was the show?
It was on the Blackwater. Did you see any Greek fire?
No, I didn't see any Greek fire.
What's it called? Is it Greek fire? No, it's not called Greek
Dragon fire. Dragon's breath.
Dragon's bane. Dragon's fire. Whatever.
Dragon's urine.
Did you see Stannis?
Baratheon.
Yeah, did you see him?
No.
No, did you see his ships?
Burning.
Yeah.
The joke is getting old. We get it. We get you're trying to make Game of Thrones reference, Anthony. Yes, I get it.
You get it?
Just keep piling it on. No, I didn't see Tyrion Lannister or Tywin Lannister. No, I didn't see any incest.
We weren't really looking hard.
Maybe I did. But that's just because I was in Blackwater, not because I was in Game of Thrones.
Exactly.
But that's besides the point.
Exactly.
They get into the tent. They've given the guy some money.
Yeah.
Gribble, he's a man who knows the value of the dollar.
He does.
And they both put on the headsets, and the game starts. And the operator, he's got a pet rat on his shoulder. He puts it on the ground. And out of nowhere, they get electrocuted. And suddenly, Pete's back in his own body. But Gribble, he's not doing okay. He's sniffing.
Mm-hmm.
What's happened? He's sniffing around. He's not himself.
Yeah.
What's happened, Anthony?
What's happened?
What's happened?
What has happened?
I'm asking you, what's happened?
Oh, you're asking me.
They swap with the rat.
Oh, really? Is that what happened? I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh. What a surprise.
I missed that. Oh, I'm so surprised that happened.
You know why I missed it? Because the difference wasn't even noticeable. Get it? That's the joke.
Oh, look out.
That's why they did it.
Pete's driving Gribble home, and Gribble has obviously been switched with the rat, and back at the real estate agent, Matron's talking to Tony, and she says, your son is experiencing a spiritual crisis of the deepest order. She's a pretty good salesman.
Yeah.
And she says, you need to sell the lighthouse and buy this other place I have for you. And Tony's about to do it. And he's about to sign. He's actually signing when Pete arrives, and he runs in, but it's too late. It's been signed. The document. It's over.
No, the document's been signed.
You can't get the house back.
Wait.
He sold the lighthouse.
You and I both know.
And Regan Pontillo.
Out, we both did business law.
I don't know if Regan Pontillo did.
I don't know if he did business law, but I know you and me did.
Yes.
And we're not lawyers, but we know something called a cooling off period. That's right.
Yes.
When you sign a contract, usually it's for
you have a week.
Things, it's like for small things, it's 24 hours. For like a larger thing, like a mortgage, it's like a week. You can say, you know what, I've changed my mind, and basically just the contract is invalid.
Yep.
But no, it's a ticking clock because reasons. You know, we need to make it not realistic.
Harold.
Yep.
He sniffs Matron because he's a rat.
Yes.
He is a rat.
He is a rat. He is. That's good. I'm glad you noticed that. Finally.
And he acts like a rat.
He is. He acts like himself.
Oh, more rat jokes. Ah, you anti-capitalist scum.
Well, that's what he is, though. He's supposed to be a rat. That's the joke. That's why he's turned into a rat.
Yeah, I understand the joke.
Good.
I understand the joke.
I thought you thought I was just getting that.
No.
Good. I'm glad that
I
you
do
get it
understand the joke. Thank you, Anthony.
I'm glad the jokes don't fly over your head.
Ayn Rand is my Lord and Savior.
Yes,
so
that's true.
No, I'm joking. Back in
You
the
are
lighthouse.
the Apostle Joe.
The apostle of Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
The objectivist hero of today, and the
probably
John Galt of tomorrow.
The only objectivist hero.
Who?
Ayn
Rand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she invented
You should really
it.
start pronouncing her name properly then.
What? How do you say it?
It's Ayn Rand.
It's Ayn. It's clearly Anne.
It's Ayn Rand. Have you ever heard an interview?
No, this is how the Americans say it.
Have you ever heard an interview with her? There's interviews with her.
Rand.
And she goes, how do you pronounce your name? She goes, Ayn Rand.
Is it Ayn or Ayn?
Ayn Rand.
As in Eins.
Yeah.
Spy.
Or at least it's closer to Ayn than it is to Ayn. Or Yan, or Ayan, or
see,
whatever.
I'm an Australian. I would like to pronounce things as the way that I would like to pronounce them.
Well, I'm not.
See,
I'm
I don't
not,
like it. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it.
All right.
When you turn my voice about.
I made that joke like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, well, I'm making it now, Anthony.
Right, fair enough. not that we don't recycle jokes on this podcast.
Not at all.
I've listened to us.
And Rand rocks. Anything. Have we that bad? Do we just use the same jokes over and over?
I have done that. In our Scrapping Planet episode, we've done that like 2 weeks in a row. Not by on purpose. It was like, I can't remember what the joke was. I can't even remember.
We must be a rubbish binge podcast. If you just start binging us, it's like, oh yeah, I heard that joke 20 minutes ago, guys. Get some new material.
Come on, mate. Come on. Think about it. I just couldn't remember. I was like, I thought we said that already.
You know what's funny?
What?
When I'm editing the podcast, I've often forgotten what we've said.
Yeah.
I'll be editing the podcast and I think of a joke, and then because it takes me a little bit longer to edit it than it does in the podcast time of playing it. So I'll think of the joke, then I hit play again on the keyboard and I say the joke in the podcast, and it's like, oh, yeah, I said that joke then.
You think it's funny? And you're like, oh, I did say it. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries.
I was like, oh, you know what would be funny if I made a joke about this, and then I do.
And you're like, well, then I guess I am really funny.
I'm
Carnival.
Such a hilarious man. Did you hear about Carnival?
Yeah, that's
back at the lighthouse, Linda is not happy, and neither is Bronson, because the lighthouse has been sold, not solved. Although it could be solved. Branding there.
That is branding.
Branding.
Yeah. Yep, solved.
If you are solved,
yes,
or solver,
give
or
us money.
Whatever it is, give us money. We'll talk about you more.
Yeah, we will. I love Solvit. It's the best. What is Solvit? Is it paint?
It's a paint.
Isn't it the best paint ever?
Problem solved.
Yeah, you'll never have to worry about paint again.
You'll never have to worry about selling a lighthouse if you buy Solvit paint.
Send money to Anthony at sendmemonynow.com.
Or Tales from the Twists at wordpress.com/talestwists.
We should really set up an account in the Cayman Islands too, you know.
You can send us funds.
Send us funds in the Cayman Islands.
If you're one of our listeners and you want to send us large amounts of money because you love us, feel free to do that as well. You know,
I'm not against that.
We might be libertarians, but we also like free money.
I like free money. Well, you know, if people give out free money, it's like, why not take the free money? You're an idiot if you don't.
Pete tells everyone what happened, and we cut back to the real estate agent, and Harold has made some kind of horrific fly nest.
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned fly not as in the animal, but flies in the film.
Movie? Yeah.
It's
like
some kind of body horror film. And he's made this nest, and Matron's like, oh my goodness, what are you doing, Harold? And he kind of attacks her.
Matron, which is really messed up, right?
Yeah, this poor, long-suffering woman.
Yeah.
The Twist family, they arrive.
Abducted by Vikings.
Yeah.
Right? Now being attacked, like being cheated on by her husband, potentially.
Yes, potentially.
And then now she's being attacked by her husband.
In the form of
a
rat man.
Not like in a regular attacking. I'm talking like a form of rat. Psychologically, man, she's got... She should probably go see a counselor.
Did he drink some rat rot? Is that why he's become a rat?
That's probably it. Yeah, look at the worlds colliding.
Oh, look at us.
Oh.
Round the twist.
Cross-branding.
And Captain Planet meeting together and...
It's like they
collision
or something.
It's like we do both of those shows on a podcast in alternating weeks on a podcast channel called Tales from the Twist. You can find us on iTunes and YouTube and many other social medias. If you rate us on iTunes, it's really great for us, and we might be great for you too.
Thanks for saying that. I actually don't have to say that at the end of the episode.
What?
Now. I don't have to say that at the end of the episode.
Rate us on
iTunes.
We can say it at the end of the episode. Double up.
Double up.
They're at the real estate agent, the Twist family that is, and faces, who's going to believe us that Pete swapped bodies with Gribble? They'll think that we're loonies. And Tony says, get used to it. You're a Twist now.
Yeah.
We're loonies for life.
You know, one of the things I really liked, one of the comments that Tony made was back at the lighthouse. It was, Tony gets chewed out by Faye, right?
Yeah.
And he said, I thought I was doing it for Pete's sake.
Oh, Pete's sake.
Actually, I really liked the delivery of it too. It wasn't like, he legitimately said I was doing it for Pete's sake, and then it's like, oh wow, shit, that's actually a phrase people say. It's like a little.
Yeah. I
realized that afterwards, and I'm like, oh wow, that's cool.
Matron runs outside and she says, "Help! Help! There's droppings everywhere."
Yeah.
And we'll come back to that. And the twist center inside, and Gribble he's just wrecking everything. He's a rat man, just chewing apart the office, and he's destroying the contract. And the twists go, he's destroying the contract. This isn't concerning at all that the mayor of our town is suddenly possessed by a rat.
He's the mayor of the town.
Let's go home now. And Gribble is stuck inside the body of a rat, and he's sitting in the corner, and he's like, he's terrified.
He's terrified.
And that's the end of the episode.
Oh no, which is
I'm
awful.
in the body of a rat. So there's no resolution there at all.
Not really. They just leave him there. I feel like he's going to fix it somehow. It'll be fixed by the next time we record.
Maybe. Probably. Rules of television. Is there anything else you want to talk about this episode before we jump into some more listener feedback?
Nope. Not this time.
Okay. Well, we'll get into some more pontifications then. We've got a couple of paragraphs here from Pontillo. He's said to us the following. Great episode in my opinion. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Storyline was decent, and I thought the actor who portrayed Pete and the actor who portrayed Mr. Gribble were both pretty convincing in their reversal roles. Me as Joseph Lewis, not Regan Pontillo, have to agree with you. Disagree, yeah. Sorry. I'm disagreeing with you there. I thought they were both garbage. But Pontillo, you're a good guy. You have good opinions. Just this time you're wrong.
Oh,
usually
please.
You're right.
No, I think Pontillo is spot on this time.
I'll continue. The possibility of the lighthouse being sold in this episode also keeps you on the edge of your seat.
It does keep you on the edge of your seat. You'll be sitting on the edge of your seat till it ends.
What are you referencing there? I can't
Foster's
quite...
home from imagining creatures or some shit.
No, it was,
No, Foster, no friends.
You'll be on the edge of your seat till it ends. Yeah. Something like that. We knew a guy in high school, and his last name was Foster, and
that was the song there.
Actually, that is an example of bullying, actually.
You see, exactly what I was telling you.
Other friends,
I told you.
Our other friends would say, Foster. No friends. So yeah, there was bullying in high school. Inside of our friendship group.
See,
as well.
We don't even see it.
We didn't, you're blinded. You're just blinded by playing Yu-Gi-Oh cards at lunchtime.
I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh with him every day.
Yeah, and Beyblades. We used to play Beyblades.
I used to play chess with them every day as well.
Chess, Beyblades, Yu-Gi-Oh. What else did we do?
Why didn't I get picked on enough?
Why weren't we bullied more?
It seems like we fit the candidate.
We fit the what?
We fit the candidate, sorry.
Oh, okay. Regan continues. My only issue is with this episode is, although the ending is well presented, it's not 100% resolved, whereas generally at the end of each episode of Around the Twist, you either get an ending that is resolved or at least gives you a fair idea of how it will be resolved. How would anyone besides the twists know what happened to Mr. Gribble and the rat? And it doesn't appear they are feeling very obligated to help, they just walk away. Good point.
That is true.
Good point. I will point out in that one episode, Pink Bow Tie, Splooge is turned into a child.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't seem like anybody really cares about that either.
Yeah, I agree. No one seems to care, but this is like a main character, sort of.
And Regan has given it a spaghetti rating. We'll do ours in a sec. We'll do Regan's first.
But first off, we want to just... there's another comment from...
I was going to do them afterwards.
We'll do the ratings. We'll do the ratings all together. There's
okay.
a ratings group.
Okay.
So we'll go to Stephen Walpoles, who
Walpole.
Aside from
it's an ongoing thing that we like to. Well, we don't like to. We just do it by accident. Somehow we just mispronounce everyone that has ever written into us. We've mispronounced their name.
It's a thing we do.
I'm sorry, Christian Jeske, Regan Pontillo, Stephen Walpole, Ashley
Avicii,
Avicii. I don't know.
Avicii. I don't know.
We have a bunch of fans.
And they're like, hey...
Have we mispronounced Phil Bates at all? I think he's probably the only one that we've actually got right.
Bet. It could be like, anyway. No, it's actually Phil Bates.
We're about to talk about Phil Bates and Stephen Walpole, who...
Aside from contributing
he's
again...
funny man.
That this episode had BDSM in it, which, it's a thing.
Yeah, Stephen Walpole is of the continuing opinion that Round the Twist, Season 3 and 4, is the journey of Linda from childhood to aspiring BDSM dominatrix. And almost every episode points that out. And everywhere he posts this on Chicken Twisties, which you can join. It's a group where we talk about Round the Twist and our podcast, and you can talk directly to us and ask us questions, blah, blah. Or on the Tales from the Twists Facebook page, which you can also join and talk about Tales from the Twist or Round the Twist or Captain Planet. Anyway, he's written in and he says, Matron Gribble makes a comment that Mr. Gribble has left droppings. Are we to believe that a grown man has shitted himself in the real estate office? Yes.
That's what I believe too, because I was wondering how did Harold do the droppings while still wearing pants?
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Exactly, like he would have had to shit his pants, like.
Yeah.
And things you wouldn't call it droppings, you would say, did he shit his pants?
Yeah, because she doesn't know that he's a rat.
So that means that the belt learned how to undo the belt, and literally
the rat did. Not
the rat learned how to do that.
The belt is not self-aware.
Right? Or maybe he doesn't have a belt anymore, and he just took off his pants and pooped.
And Phil Bataz says, well, why not? We've already seen his son eat dog poo at the Birdman competition. This is true. Phil Bataz.
So anything is, anything can happen.
Anything
and everything
is possible.
happens on Round the Twist.
Cool. Kim. Possible.
Copyright infringement. It's okay.
That's very funny. What would you rate this episode? Would you like to do Regan's now?
Yeah, we'll do Regan's.
Regan's rating that he's given it is 9 out of 10 spaghetti bowls. Very high there, Regan. And he said, and a frozen Mars bar for dessert. Good rating. He's thoroughly enjoyed it. How would you rate this episode of Around the Twist?
I would rate it 7 out of 10 bowls of spaghetti.
Oh, pretty
7
high.
out of 10 bowls of spaghetti, sorry.
Yes.
With a side order of cannolis.
Oh, okay. Look out.
Look out.
I would give this 3 out of 10 giant bowls of Fruit Loops.
Wow. How does it feel to be wrong?
How does it feel to be incorrect? Who's got a degree in film here? You or me?
The fact that you have a degree in film means that you should know better.
Do you have anything else you'd like to contribute to the episode, Anthony?
I wrote some notes down. I wrote one note down.
Yeah,
as
okay.
A funny joke, as a funny joke.
Get to it.
Get as a funny joke. We're over time. Yeah. I thought you and I should have swapped roles for the entire podcast.
Then that's what I said at the beginning.
See, I said that I can make weird noises, introduce things, and mispronounce things, and Joe can mumble and appear heavily drunk. Yeah.
We could have just done that, and it would have been way fun. Show don't tell, Anthony.
Show don't tell.
Show don't tell.
Should have done it.
Should have done it like that. Anything else you want to just add in?
I don't want to just add in anything else now. I am done.
Good. My name is Joseph Lewis.
And if you'd like to find us on... Sorry, I thought you would actually delegate to me first. If you'd like to find us, and follow us on social media, go find us on Facebook at Tales from the Twist. That's the same for YouTube, Tales from the Twist. Twitter, TFT Twists. Find our website, which is talesfromthetwist.wordpress.com. Subscribe to us on iTunes, as we said already.
Yeah,
and,
rate us there.
Rate us there as well and say, hey, these guys are great, whatever. And, join Chicken Twisties if you really like the show and you like talking about that show even a little bit more. It's a great, actually a great group. I really like the people in there.
We talk about a lot of stuff, Good fun.
It's good. Join it.
There's a comment every week about Linda's BDSM habits.
Yep.
You get to read Pontillo's pontifications.
Yeah, you get a sneak peek, actually. And everyone
episode actually comes out. People love it. Love it.
Oh, I love it.
You get to talk to some great people like Phil Bataz.
Yes.
And Stephen Wildpole. Yep. Hayden Redding.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Great guy.
Anyway.
Christian as well.
Christian Jeske.
Great guy.
All of our fans are great people. How could they not be? They like us.
They like us, exactly. Good point.
That is all the time we have for today. It's really weird how I say that, and I don't know how to stop saying it because it doesn't actually make any sense. But my name is Joe Lewis.
And I'm Anthony Bull.
Thank you very much for listening. Have a great week. Stay twisty.
Yeah. See ya.